What's going on, guys? Zane here with Everything Vive. I want to welcome you back for another episode. I am joined by Ronnie. Ronnie, how's it going, man?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm back from vacation and back from the holiday. But,
Very cool. Welcome back.
Thank you. How was your Memorial Day?
It was good. It was nice and relaxing. It was kind of like right what I needed at that time. So it was nice to have that time off. So
I know you were super busy. Just a couple weeks ago?
the
week that we were doing the interview with Daniel O'Brien.
Ugh.
But glad we were able to get him on the show. Glad everything worked out there, and hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. It was really enlightening for us, and just an absolute pleasure to speak with him. So let's jump right in. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. That's not what I wanted to do. Before we jump right in, we got a couple of giveaway winners to announce. And so the first is the Servios giveaway, and that is from the episode 2 weeks ago that we did with co-founder Nathan Burba. We were giving away 2 Steam keys, and so I just want to announce the winners here. And this is your YouTube profile ID. So I hope I pronounce it correctly. The first is Kid Dynamite, spelled Kyd Dynamite. And the second is Martin Urbanek. So Kid Dynamite and Martin Urbanek, congratulations, guys. You have won one of the raw data Steam key giveaways. And so just shoot us a message on the back end of the YouTube channel, and we will get you that, and you guys can jump into the game right away.
Very cool.
The other one is, it's June already. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
June 1st.
Nuts.
So with the new month, we are giving away another Steam gift card. And so the winner for that, randomly drawn, is Tita Boots. Titaboots. Tita Boots. So, the way that we'll contact you via the email that you sent in, and for anyone who is interested in entering, this is an ongoing giveaway that we are doing. It's a $20 Steam gift card that we give away every single month, and so the next one will be on our first episode posted in July. And the way that you can do that is to leave a review on iTunes, take a screenshot of it, and send that to contact@everythingvive.com. And there will be a link. There will be instructions in the show notes, so you'll be able to see exactly what to do there. But yeah, just leave us some feedback. Of course, we hope that it's a 5-star review, but we just want the feedback, want to help the podcast grow. And obviously, we've been able to land some pretty great guests on here, and I've been able to give you guys some Steam keys. So helping the podcast grow helps the entire community. Wouldn't you say, Ronnie?
Yeah, no, it's always nice to hear from people. I just like to see comments and feedback and all that kind of stuff. So anything that you guys want to send us or talk about, or if you have questions or comments or anything, everything's welcome. So yeah,
since day one, Ronnie and I are just absolutely excited about this stuff. So anybody that we can chat with, usually he and I are all over Reddit too. So it's been fun, and congrats to those winners. And Ronnie, ready to just jump into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so this episode we are actually going to focus on the Deluxe Audio Strap. I know we are overdue for a news and game talk episode, but with me being out of town with the holiday and everything, it was tough. And there's really one game that everybody's talking about right now, and that's Star Trek Bridge Crew. And since it came out on Tuesday, Ronnie and I want a little bit more time to dive into it. I mean, the reviews look fantastic. The gameplay looks great. But before we give our thoughts on it, I think we really want to make sure we go into the multiplayer, go into the single player. And, it reminds us of another multiplayer game that we had on the show. So we are definitely excited to chat about that with you guys. But we'll save that for next week. This week is all about the Deluxe Audio Strap, and we received these courtesy of HTC. So Ronnie, let's break this down maybe by, I got a couple different, your categories that we can kind of discuss. The first being comfort, ease of use, durability, advantages, disadvantages, and overall value, I think is a good way to organize at least our thoughts on it. What do you think?
Yeah, agreed. No, I think those cover, most of the pros and cons of the head strap. So I think it makes sense to break it down that way.
Cool. Well, let's dive into the first one then. Comfort and ergonomics. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So, and we had, I think this is the only issue that we had briefly discussed prior to the podcast, because we wanted to leave our impressions fresh.
Yeah, every time
Like
it came up, we're just like, no, stop talking. Let's.
Yeah, even one of those things. Like I've seen, other people posting impressions or reviews of the head strap already, and I stayed away from those, so I don't really know what other people are saying about the head strap per se. I wanted to do my best to just keep my impressions. So going into the ergonomics, I mean, I definitely think that HTC did a great job with the head strap. I definitely think it's an improvement. The one downside I would say is that, like you had mentioned, it's a little harder. It's not harder to get on, but it's just a little less pleasant to get on. Like I would say with the old head straps, since they're so loose and so flexible, you can just easily plop it on your head and you don't feel any like hard, rigid, edges on the backs and sides of your head while you're trying to position it. So initially when you're trying to put it on your head, you feel a little awkward because you're, pulling on the strap. I mean, it's very similar to the Oculus or, a headset like that where I feel the same way when I'm putting on the Oculus. It's just a little bit less pleasant to actually put on initially, just because of the firmness of the strap. But that said, as soon as you actually get, the strap on the back of your head and it's positioned, I feel like it's easier to get it dialed into exactly where you want it. And once it's on, it feels more comfortable, at least in my opinion. So that's kind of the, as far as ergonomics go, I think once it's on your head, it's a big improvement. It's just a little more awkward to actually place on just because of the nature of having the hard straps. I don't know. What was your take?
Yeah, I think the way that you broke that down is good. Like, well, so the next category is ease of use, and I think that's what you're kind of dipping into in terms of like putting it on and off. But for comfort, like once it's on your head, I'd say it feels actually very secure. And I did read a couple of reviews of I think on Reddit and just some random articles online. And so it's not that my perspective was skewed, but I did
No.
I did feel like there were a couple things that other people noticed that I may not have been able to put a finger on exactly, but as soon as I put the headset on, I was like, oh yeah, okay. And so one of those was actually a better balance overall.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so I don't know if that's just because, well, obviously this head strap is a little bit heavier now, or the Deluxe Audio Strap is a little bit heavier now compared to just the Velcro straps before. So overall, the headset is I guess heavier on your head, but the balance is much nicer and it doesn't feel so front heavy anymore. And yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, and once it's on, it does feel very comfortable. It doesn't move around a lot. It's relatively, well, I was gonna say it's relatively easy to adjust, but we can save that. Well, whatever. I mean, we don't have to.
Yeah, no, that's what I wasn't exactly sure because some of the stuff that I kind of was thinking about talking about there, I was also going to mention as some of the advantages of the head strap. So, like you said, like balance is key. I really think it's kind of a mix between the PlayStation VR headset and the Oculus headset in that it has the firm kind of elastics, like kind of pulley straps on the sides of the Oculus, but then it's not elastic. It's just like it kind of has like a spring kind of loaded feel to the sides. But then it also has that dial on the back. And basically it's like a round circular dial on the very back of your head that you can loosen or tighten the straps with. And the Oculus doesn't have anything like that. The PlayStation VR does. I think that's super helpful because then you're able to get it perfect with that dial. And that combined with the balance that you were talking about before, I think leads to for me at least, the biggest advantage of using the premium audio head strap was actually, like, I didn't really expect this, but for me, I think with the balance and with the better positioning, I feel like I actually get a better view of the screen. Like I personally felt like it allowed me to be able to center the screen in my vision and place it firmly, in front of my face in a way that everything just looked a little better, a little sharper, and I wasn't getting as much fog or condensation from my sweat and that kind of thing. Because sometimes with my other headset, and I don't know if this is the product of me also using an aftermarket what's it called? An aftermarket foam piece on the front side of the visor. That kind of, it's kind of like a leathery, like smaller type of foam. And so I don't know if that was making it a little bit worse with the older head strap, but with the new head strap, I just noticed that that it's just the right kind of pressure all around the headset on the front of my face that makes the screen just pop more.
Yeah, I think a key word that you mentioned was that it was centered. I think that's something that is definitely a huge advantage for it, just because before, when you have to adjust both sides of the strap, like the default strap that's given with it, not that it's like tough to center it, but it's usually, you're never going to get it perfect. You usually just get it so it's comfortable on your head, and then, it still might wiggle a little bit, and there's a chance, like I remember for some people who had smaller heads, like whenever they'd look down, the head strap kind of just hung in place. And that I feel like is going to be a non-issue with this, just because it's automatically centered because it's one complete piece and you don't adjust one side versus the other separately. And with the dial, you can get it to be as close and as tight as you need to, and it still feels very comfortable. Like I was like tightening it as much as I could, and those foam pieces in front, did a good job. Even though the pressure was on my face, I was able to still, like, it actually didn't feel bad or hurt me. It actually felt really good in the sense that I could do whatever I wanted. Look around quickly, look down, up, whatever the case might be, and it felt very secure.
Agreed.
So moving on to like the ease of use part, I think that the dial which we mentioned on the back, it does make it very easy to adjust the head strap in terms of tightness. Where I'd say there's a slight disadvantage, and this probably honestly is my only like con with the head strap, if we're just looking at it from not overall value, but if we're just looking at it from like the hardware itself, compared to the previous one, is the ease of taking it on and off. Before, I could just easily slip on the thing, slide the head straps back, and I play it every day, so it's super comfortable for me, as opposed to somebody who's trying it for the first time. For somebody trying it for the first time, if they get used to this, it might just be a matter of being used to a certain way. But it's not as easy for me to just slide it on and slide it off as I used to before.
Yeah, you get more consistent results. Like when you get it on, when it's on your head, it's perfect. But yeah, getting it on and off, I agree, is a little bit just more annoying. Like I had the same issue with the Oculus. Like I said, after using the initial Vive's head straps for so long, I just noticed, I had always heard that, the head straps on the Oculus are superior, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I always just felt like it was a little bit, more annoying to put on. This, I think, is an improvement upon the Oculus head straps. I mean, in large part because of the dial and it just has a better sense of balance, I think. But still, like it's similar in that I think you just, with the rigid straps on the sides and back, it's just a little bit less flexible. So you do have to kind of, squeeze your head in there a little bit to get it perfectly on. I guess another thing I wanted to mention, in this section, when talking about ease of use, would be installation.
I was going to get to that, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what it was like for you. Once I actually knew what to do, it wasn't bad. But I'll be completely honest. When I initially opened the box and just looked at the instruction manual, I felt like I wasn't 100% sure what to do exactly to get the old head strap off. Like I understood some of it, but I wasn't 100% sure on getting the dials on the side off and that sort of thing. And it ended up being much easier than I thought it was going to be. But I just, for anyone out there that, hasn't gotten it yet or hasn't installed it yet, just to there's an excellent tutorial that I think Vive actually put out, or the HTC put out, explaining exactly how to take off your old strap and install the new strap. And it was very, very, very easy to follow and very short. It was literally like a 2-minute video, something like that. And, they just very calmly tell you what the steps are to getting the old head strap off. And at least for me, after watching that 1 to 2 minute video, I was able to really, really easily just take the old one off and snap the new one on. So.
Oh, well, I didn't even know about that video, to be honest.
It wasn't anything. I just thought, I didn't want to, I felt like, I didn't want to put too much pressure on the side units because I tend to break things when I do that.
Yep,
so
you definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah, no. So I didn't know exactly how to get those side things out. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to Google this just to see if anyone else mentions it. And then sure enough, there was an official video that was posted, I think, by HTC that I watched, and it did the trick. Like it showed you, because it shows you exactly what to do to snap off some of those pieces. And so I just watched that, and then I felt better and just
yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that there's a video. They should definitely put something out, and it sounds like they put something that's comprehensive and concise. For me, I think I was just excited. Like I took it out and I was immediately trying to figure out how to take out the old head strap, and I looked into the booklet, and it kind of sent me to a link online, and I was just like, I'm like feeling impatient. Let me just see if I can figure it out. So I kind of just fumbled my way through it. Thankfully, nothing broke, nothing, everything is fine. But even just the instructions on the in the booklet for installing the Deluxe strap weren't too bad. I felt like they did a good job. The only thing that I was confused of, and if you're going to be going through just the booklet itself and not the video, although I highly recommend the video now that I know that there's one there, but the only issue that I ran into was what to do with the wires, because it wasn't as like they gave you some diagrams of how you kind of run it around the right side of the strap, and then also I didn't know, because it's not specifically marked in there, that you could take out the audio wire. So I didn't even try that. And I was just like, I was trying to find a way to like include the audio wire in that kind of like wrap around. And then I was just like, okay, well, let me see what this is telling me to do. And like I said, it shows a picture, but it doesn't really explain it. But you have to take off that front plate to expose where the wires are plugged in, and then you can actually see that the audio strap wire is detachable, and so you can install the new wire that is attached to the head strap into the headset itself. And I'm just talking about like that aux 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And so you can easily put that in, and then it's fine.
Yeah, I went even like further than I needed to. Yeah, because I think some of the stuff, like maybe this is actually me looking at the instruction manual and not the video, but I had initially completely removed all of my wires. And I felt like that was a little overboard.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that, but it's not that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like you can easily plug it right back in.
Yeah.
So you didn't remove, or sorry, you removed the wires completely?
So I removed all of the wires completely, and when I did that, I just happened to notice, like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I never realized that the audio jack cable was completely separate from the 3-in-1. Like that, it makes sense because everyone always talks about it as a 3-in-1 cable. But I just, for some reason, I thought that at least like near the headset they were attached or something. So when I noticed that the headphone jack cable that was initially with the Vive was completely separate and that you could just remove it, then it was kind of a no-brainer. Like I just didn't include it again when I plugged in the new one. So, but like I said, the downside of the way I did it, like I took off all the cables, and then I had to, kind of rethread it through that little plate again and that sort of thing. Not that it was hard or anything, but after doing it, I realized that you don't really have to take out the 3-in-1 cable entirely. You really just have to take it out of the strap itself, the old strap.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, honestly, it might be easier the way that you did it because even though I didn't take out the or I didn't unplug the wires, like I had to I had to pull the head strap the old head strap all the way back across the wires just to remove it, and then I had to put the new one all the way at the open end and kind of slide it in. So I mean, this is literally something that's going to take you guys 1 minute. So I don't think there's a difference whether you go one way or the other. But yeah,
no.
taking the wires out isn't going to be the end of the world.
But that is one thing I should mention though. Like, I don't think that this is like you're going to be switching the strap on and off, like as much as like I was kind of initially thinking it was going to be really, really super easy to take on and off, and it is pretty easy. Don't get me wrong, but I don't foresee myself really taking the premium strap off and putting the old one back on for demos or that kind of thing, unless I'm going to be doing it for quite a while, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't see switching back and forth. And that's kind of one of the things for me that I'm a little bit like, maybe I'm just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit overprotective of my new gear now that we have the head strap and everything, the premium head strap. But, that is one thing I'm a little bit like, oh man, like if I have to let a ton of people use it, it does seem like the back foam on the premium head strap, could get a little bit more dirty or something compared to like before. If anything, I worried about washing the foam on the front, on the actual screen, but I never had to really worry about, the head strap itself being gross or anything like that.
That's true.
So that is one downside to this. But that said, like that's a small price to pay for having something that's so much nicer. So,
well, let's while we're still on easy. Well, I don't even know where this falls into, but what about the headphones? What did you think of those?
I think the headphones are good. So I mean, initially, like I since I have an Oculus, I noticed that I liked using the headphones there. I've noticed that I think at least for me, it's really nice to have the headphones when I'm just using it myself. So if I'm just playing games alone, having that, there's really no downside to having the headphones. It just makes things a little bit easier, and you don't have to worry about kind of fiddling. Sometimes I'd have to fiddle a little bit with making sure the default sound device was properly set up with my Vive, because I wouldn't always use I wouldn't use headphones usually with it, and the mirroring device stuff sometimes was a little finicky in my experience. So I just, this made it a little bit easier. But that said, I could see myself not wanting to always use them when I have guests over, because a lot of times, like if I'm demoing VR to a group, you want everybody to be able to hear it, not just the person using it.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been in that situation yet. I know you can mirror both, so you can have it play in the headphones and play on speakers. And that's probably what I would end up doing.
Well, the headphones are also flexible enough. Like I felt like I could kind of move them away from my ears if I didn't want to listen. Yeah, you
definitely can. So, and I haven't really messed around with that too much. So I don't know if that'll feel awkward or not. Like you're 100% right. Like it's an added feature, not something that distracts or anything like that. I was just mentioning that, like, I just see that as I guess those are more pros and cons to headphones in general. And I just, so even if you were using headphones before versus not, like same kind of pros and cons would apply. Just here, they're built onto the headset. So, they're there regardless, but I don't know. What did you think?
So just starting with the headphones itself, the audio quality is acceptable. Like it's not great. It's not awful. But the convenience of having them there without having to plug anything in is something that I definitely undervalued initially. Like 7-8 months ago, I think when I got the Vive, I was reading a bunch of different like articles comparing the Vive to the Rift, and one of the things that they would always say was that the Rift, or sorry, they say the benefit of the Rift was having the headphones built in, but I don't, maybe I'm more like picky with like my audio files and things like that, and so or sorry, not audio files, my audio just headphones and things like that. So what I do, or what I preferred at the time, was actually being able to use my own headphones, whether that's like, like the Apple headset, which is nice and light, or even putting in something that's a little bit more heavy duty over the Vive itself. And just, I valued having that flexibility more than having the convenience. But now that it's here, like I noticed that since I have it set up, relatively close to where my TV is in the living room, I used to just use the audio from there. But now it's just like I have, if it's there, I definitely use it. And the only thing that I'd say, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, was what is it? There was like a little bit of a delay when I had both audio sources on, where it was coming from the TV and the headphones. And so I don't know. Did you notice?
Yeah, so I haven't really noticed that per se, just because I don't often use both at the same time to notice the lag, but that makes sense to me. It certainly makes sense that there would be a little bit of a difference versus using the headphones. So that's really interesting, though. Like especially with the mirroring, because I never knew fully exactly how the mirroring is done on the hardware side. But you would expect there to be some little bit of lag there. So
well, when I used headphones previously, I didn't notice anything. So I don't know if it's just a setting that maybe I'll have to go through, but I was just curious if you had noticed that.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to check it out now because yeah, I would imagine it has something to do with what's set as the default device and what's being mirrored and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll have to be on the lookout for that and kind of mess with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, now, if I figure out what it is, I'll report back on a future episode. But let's move on to the next one, and that's durability. So my thoughts on this, and I'm not directly affected by it because it never happened to me, but there are people who complain about the straps or the Velcro on the straps being overused, or they basically just wear out. And so
the old ones.
Yeah, the old ones. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the default ones that come with it. So maybe I just don't play as much as other people, although I say that I do get a fair amount of gameplay in. But for me, like that never happened to me. And so with that being said, if it did happen, I can't see it happening with the Deluxe Audio Strap. I feel like that is actually a very good solution to that problem because it's all attached as one unit now. And, with the tightening, like unless something happens with the knob that you turn and the mechanics fail in there, I feel like you'd never run into a problem of, it becoming loose or it becoming undone. Like it would be an overall failure of the head strap rather than like a kind of wear and tear. Does that make sense?
No, that does. And I totally agree with that. And I can see, I mean, my old head strap was definitely still working perfectly. Like the Velcro wasn't worn out or anything like that. But at the same time, I mean, it's definitely getting a little bit more ratty than it was when I originally bought it. Like, the edges of the old strap are fraying a little bit here and there. And it just in general, it's nice to get something new and fresh. And now that a lot of this is plastic and foam, like I feel like it will hold up pretty well. One thing I'll say is that if you do plan on switching this head strap a lot, I don't know that I would recommend doing that. Like I'm definitely keeping my old strap. And if I'm going to, I don't know. Like I haven't decided yet whether I want a lot of other people using the premium head strap of mine or not when I'm going to be demoing it. I just haven't had a chance to mess with it by myself long enough to know whether, that foam on the back is actually going to be affected by use or not. So, but like I said, like switching back and forth between the premium head strap and the original head strap, I'm not sure is a great idea. Just because the side connectors on there, I feel like would get worn out if you're trying to disconnect them and reconnect them over and over again, like on the actual headset, because they're kind of small little plastic dial things, and maybe they hold up great, but I would just be really worried on breaking one of the little tabs or something, and then the strap's not fitting on anymore.
No,
so.
I completely agree with you. That would render the entire thing useless because that's on the headset itself.
Yeah, so it's one of those things I think that's best. You switch it very rarely, and it works great for that, but not on and off all the time, back and forth, that kind of thing.
I mean, for me, to be honest, like I'm going to keep it on. I haven't had anyone over yet to demo it since I got the head strap. So I'm going to see how that kind of goes and see if it's easier or more difficult for people to get it with this. I would assume it would be a little bit easier, but
I heard it's easier because that's what, I mean, part of, I think, the reason, like, they're marketing this also, like, I guess they're including the premium head strap with business.
Yeah, the business
editions.
edition. Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that is, I mean, obviously just having the better head straps is always a plus, and probably the business edition is kind of a higher end. They're gearing it towards, professionals, that sort of thing. But still, it's also just easier. Like, I've heard it's easier to put on multiple people's heads because really, rather than having to mess the top strap, as I think all current Vive owners probably already know, you don't really have to mess with all that often. Like
I don't think I ever touched it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like there have been a couple of times when I have, just like if I have really small, like people with really small heads or really large.
Oh
head,
yeah, like kids. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's just been a couple of situations where I've had to adjust that. They're not very many. As long as you have it set up, fairly normal, it fits on pretty much every. So besides that strap, which you don't really have to mess with, there are no straps here. So it's literally just a matter of putting it on someone's head and turning that little dial. And yeah, I think that it's much easier. And again, you get such consistent results with it. Just, I mean, if it's going to fit or if it's not fitting.
Yeah.
So I think it'll probably be easier to demo with multiple people. Like I said, I think it's just because I have this new shiny premium strap that I'm like, oh no, like.
Yeah, you don't want to wear it out right away.
Yeah, but that said, I don't think it's a problem or anything. Like, it's not. It doesn't seem like any more. It's not going to wear out any quicker than any of the other stuff out there. So.
Yep. No, I agree. Well, so let's discuss. Are there any other like further or like advantages or disadvantages that like we didn't mention yet, and then we can get into overall value and wrap up?
Sure. I was just going to ask you one quick question because I don't know if you had found and maybe this is just me not reading through all the instructions or watching the video closely enough, but after my installation, I never used that little strap that they give you. They, like, in the box, there was this little strap with little screw. Did you use that?
Wait, with a screw? I didn't see a screw. I
think mine has like a tiny screw with it.
Oh, there's a little black Velcro strap that you use for like once you wrap the wires around to the back. Like I think it just centers it because like you once you wrap it around, you wrap it to the center, and then you attach it to the back of the head strap.
See, that makes sense, and I haven't done that yet.
Okay,
and that was one of the things that I kind of, after using it, I thought that's probably what it was for. I just haven't
otherwise it's like hanging off the right side of your face then.
Yeah,
right?
That's what, and it kind of tugs at it a little bit. Like it feels a little funny.
Yeah, no, so I'd say that probably makes a big difference in terms of centering it on your head. Just because you do have, even if it's just a couple of small wires, like there is extra weight on the right side of your face. So having that not hang off the right side, I think does help a lot. Where it just goes to the back. So yeah, and it's really easy to put in. Like you literally just
it looked easy. That's why I wasn't 100% sure, and then like I said, after using it, I was like, oh, that's probably what it's for. I just hadn't gotten around to putting it on yet. So
that's not too bad. I don't think there was. I feel like we covered everything. Like overall advantages, like it's just I'd say the pros far outweigh the cons.
For sure.
And so, do you have any other advantages or disadvantages?
No. I think that's pretty. For me, the biggest advantage again was just the fit. Just feels like, even beyond comfort, which I expected it to be more comfortable or whatever. I mean, I really think that it's great to have the higher consistency of fitting it on your face properly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just really surprised on how better I was able to personally see the screen and how clear everything looked with this head strap on compared to how I was putting it on before. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that was me putting it on too tight, not tight enough, or
Well, there just wasn't as
centering
much
it right
consistency before.
Yeah.
I think that's what you have now. So seeing that, like, I think we both agree that there's definitely more pros to cons with it, which I don't know why. It's not like we should be surprised about that. They wouldn't release something if there weren't a lot of benefits for it. But let's talk overall value now. So this comes in at $99 or $99 US. With that being said, I know it's tough for us to kind of make a judgment call. It's always tough to like value, people value things differently. So, but would you say for all the benefits that you get for it, if I do recall correctly, you were planning on getting it anyway.
I was.
So now that you have it, does that change your decision, or is it something like, yep, I would have been happy with the decision of getting it?
I would have been happy with my decision regardless because it is great. I mean, that said, like $100 is $100, and I think just biting that initial bullet of spending the money to get something like a head strap that you feel like, oh, I already have a way to put this on my head. Why am I going to pay, $100 to do that slightly better? Like, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. But I think anyone that decides to do that and actually invests in getting the new head strap is going to be happy that they did so. Like, there is a substantial benefit to using the head strap. And so I don't think anyone, I think it's more so, are you the kind of person that is willing to spend the money to make the experience better? If you are, then you're going to be satisfied with this. You're going to see, a noticeable difference. But for a lot of people out there, I feel like they're, not necessarily going to spend the money but like, I can't knock them on value whatsoever because, I mean, quite frankly, the more, like, if you think about it realistically, I mean, it's not uncommon to find, and I don't know what these headphones particularly would cost if they were standalone headphones, but like, it's not completely uncommon to have, average headphones be around $40-$50,
Yeah, no, I agree.
So even just the headphones themselves, if you consider those to be a decent fraction of the price, or a decent part of the price, then the headset is high quality and it's made of strong materials and it's officially licensed by HTC, or it's officially it's not licensed, it's created by HTC, and so it's an official product, and they want to make at least some money on these. Then like I can't really imagine a scenario where it would be that much less than $100, honestly, compared to a lot of other products out there. Like, I mean, the lowest they would have been able to go was like 75 or something. I don't know. Like, I can only speculate. But
I know what you're getting at, though.
But yeah, realistically, like, while 100's a little price, like, it's definitely reasonable. And quite honestly, before I went and confirmed the price, I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit more than $100, just knowing what kind of product it was and all that sort of thing. So I mean, I think it's for people out there that want the best VR experience. I think it's worth it. I think it is a tangible benefit. But then again, it's $100, and if you're already satisfied with your current setup and you just want to wait to, I don't know, like if you're waiting for a new headset or that sort of thing, then there's always that. Like there's always the potential for, new products to come out that you'd spend your money on rather than upgrading the old kit. So
yeah, I will echo everything that you said. The only thing extra that I'll add, and this is kind of just maybe the lens that I was looking through it at, and I'm sure a lot of other people were doing the same, is excuse me, is the fact that like initially we were supposed to get this head strap and TP cast at the in Q2, and I know there's some people have gotten TP cast in terms of like the orders in China, but we're still waiting on that to release here in the US. But when you were comparing the two and saying like, okay, if I have X amount of dollars, where am I going to put them towards? I think the wireless solution would have been a much better upgrade, a much more worthwhile upgrade. And so in my mind, like, it's not that I didn't want the head strap or the deluxe head strap. It was more so that, okay, if I have a limited amount of dollars, I'm going to spend it on the wireless solution first. But since that's not here yet, and we're not sure when that'll be coming in, this is definitely an investment worth getting. You already have the best headset that will I'll argue the best headset around right now, premium headset. And so this just makes that experience, that much better, and makes your experience. It's made my experience much better and much more consistent every single time I use it.
Yep. No, I agree. And I mean, that's, I guess, one thing when I was finishing the installation, I had the premium head strap installed, but I hadn't yet put the cables through, and just feeling what that would be like to not have it wireless. I mean, to have it wireless, I was just like, man, this would be so cool.
Cannot wait. Well,
I know.
We'll be reporting on that as soon as more news comes out, hopefully.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's all I had for today and for the head strap. What about you?
Yeah, no, that's all I have as well.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll definitely be chatting more about, we will definitely be doing our game talk and news episode next week, and hopefully with some Star Trek Bridge Crew. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to play that.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So yeah, we'll be messing around with that this weekend, and then go from there. So until then, guys, take care, and we'll talk soon.